All right, this is it. Hello, good. How are you? So it's the second day, and it's my greatest pleasure to salute everyone all over the globe. We are starting day 2 of the Productized masterclasses. So hello, here from Lisbon, our Productized studios, and excited to be with you today. So my name is Andre. If you haven't been with me and the rest of the instructors and team yesterday, I'm the co-founder of Productized, and I'll be your host for most of the day. So let me just give you some rules we have been using, or at least suggestions for the day. Making sure that you have your phone or laptop notifications turned off is actually a good idea. Confirming that your microphone and camera are working, and turning on your webcam. So lots of people without webcam. I see Jürgen, I see Joanna, I see Luisa, Filipa. We had Manuel yesterday. Hi, Jürgen, how are you? And make sure to identify yourself with first and last name, and try to network along. So people, even if they don't reach out during Zoom, they can just have your name and then search you on Circle or on LinkedIn or whatever they want, and then stalk you a little bit and hopefully network. So our network is actually a core team here in Lisbon, and apart from myself, we have lots of people making this happen. A bunch of volunteers, but also a core team. And I really want to acknowledge this team. This is the team making this possible. So let me start by my colleague, Sarah. Hi, Sarah, main room master. Paulo, he was with you guys yesterday as the master of the B2C room, and he's going to be with you today for the B2C room with Eli Casamichana and Teresa Torres. Hi, Paulo. Carolina Mcia, she's the master of the B2B room, and she's going to be with you today with Daniel Zacarias and Ken Sandy. And my colleague Maria Pereira, she's on customer support, and she's making sure that you guys don't miss any links and you can join the sessions in due time. And of course, our own Teresa Sigismund, she's our Zoom manager, and she's making sure that everything is working properly. So for them and for the speakers and for yourselves, today we are going to continue with double the energy, especially because yesterday we had lots of port wine. So let's stand up a little bit and acknowledge the second day of masterclasses we have ahead of us. A great day, and I want to give a round of applause to the team, to the speakers, and to yourselves, guys. Let's go. Danielle, ready? Okay. All right. Good. Amazing. So yesterday was a great day because we had amazing feedback of the masterclasses. In the words of Ricardo Grillo, I was expecting a lot, but Danielson is really a reference and shares knowledge in every word. He also told us that the different way of thinking and at the same time so simple immediately made me think in a way to start implementing some of the ideas at my current work and share it with my team about Radhika Dutt's masterclass. And of course, regarding Gibson, the energy and the way Gibson transmits his knowledge is really amazing. So that this are the words of Katya. So show your hands if you had a good time yesterday in your masterclasses. All right, quick show of hands. Okay, great. Yeah, amazing, cool. So we're going to start strong today by reviewing the agenda and making sure everyone is on the same page and ready to start. If you have any questions, just let me know here on the Zoom chat, and me and my team will reach out. So we will have 3 rooms with 3 different Zoom links: the main room where we are right now, the enterprise product room or B2B room, and the B2C room. In the main room, we'll have the Fireside chat presented by Farfetch, and the coffee with the breakout rooms. And we'll close the day with a keynote talk from Lauren Isaacson on how to turn research insights into informed decisions. In the B2B room and the B2C room, we will have our masterclasses. And here After each masterclass, please make sure you return to this very same Zoom room. You can find all the room Zooms, the Zoom links always on Circle, our community platform, on the main room tab in the email, and also in the email that we have sent you a couple of minutes ago. So to attend our masterclass, you need to look for your masterclass Zoom link on Circle, and you can always go to our customer support and ask for help. So if you haven't really joined us on Circle, please do. Everything is happening there. You can network with your fellow attendees and speakers. You can have fun on our creative spaces and have access to all the Zoom links. And it's the only place where you can claim your amazing digital gift bag. You can also download Circle app to your favorite smartphone. And yes, please share the love in your favorite social media channel. Our hashtag for today is Productized. So we're on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and of course on YouTube, where some of these talks are also going to be available. So if you need help, we are live chatting on Circle. My colleague Maria is there for you, or you can just email info@productized.co, right? You can also scan these codes and the Circle page will pop up. So thank you for being with us today. So now for the fireside chat that is just about to start, let me introduce you Radhika Dutt and Hélder Oliveira. They are the panelists of this fireside chat on achieving your business vision one step at a time. Radhika, of course, was with us yesterday, but let me just give a quick word of intro in case you don't know her work. Radhika is an entrepreneur and co-founder of the radical product thinking movement. She currently advises organizations from high-tech startups to government agencies on product thinking. And Hélder Oliveira is now Farfetch's Vice President of Product, Platform, and Connected Retail. He's also leading multiple teams through the Luxury New Retail Initiative. And the topic for this fireside chat is actually achieving your business vision one step at a time, and we want to make this as interactive as possible. So hi Radhika, hi Hélder, how are you guys? Hi there. So let me just explain a little bit how we're going to take questions. So if you have any questions during the fireside chat, you have this amazing opportunity to ask them on Slido. Just scan this QR code with your phone camera or go to slido.com and search for hashtag Productized. And you can do your questions there. So let me do the intro video and then we'll start. Okay, so let me remind you that this is going to be a 30-minute session, starting with a brief introduction, followed by 20 minutes of fireside chat and the Q&A at the end. So let's actually start this. Hélder, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can share your screen. Is that all right? Okay, so just stop sharing my screen and hopefully you'll be able to share your screen, Hélder. Okay. All right, so let me see what's going on here with Hélder and Radhika. Okay, I think Hélder, can you try to share the screen again? Otherwise I can make you...
Yes, I can. I couldn't unmute myself. Okay. Typical these days, right?
Well, sometimes.
Let me quickly...
I'll make you a co-host so you can, maybe it's just easier for you to share it like that. All right, so I'll just put here the Slido in case you still want to jump into Slido and start preparing your questions there while Hélder is trying to share his presentation. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Hélder.
Sorry, guys, I'm having a few.
No, we can see your presentation. I'm just going to suggest, apparently you're using a Mac, to go to view and then put this in full screen, so we just see the presentation.
All right.
Yeah, that's great. Amazing. It works perfectly. The stage is yours, Hélder.
If you guys give me just a couple of minutes, a few seconds, so I can pull my presenter notes. Sorry, I'll need to stop sharing for a minute and open a new window here. All right, can you guys see it now? Hope so.
Yes,
yeah?
we can.
Okay, great. Sorry about this. All right, so hi everyone. Sorry about this hiccup in the beginning. My name is Hélder Oliveira. Thank you for the introductions, Andre. I'm VP of Product at Farfetch, and I'm delighted to be here today alongside with Radhika from Radical Product Thinking. Hi, Radhika. Yeah, I'm guessing you're there. In this session, we'll discuss the role product managers play in achieving a company's vision. And I hope you leave this session today with a few examples and tools you can use straight away to start building products towards your company's vision. Yeah. Okay. I want to start by sharing with you a bit of context on Farfetch, just to make sure everyone understands what we're aiming at this company and how we evolved over the years. So basically, Farfetch is now, and it was part of his vision from when we started, the global platform for luxury. So in 12 years, we have successfully transformed the luxury fashion industry by building a platform that brings together creators, curators, and consumers around the luxury fashion industry. Firstly, we revolutionized the world of luxury fashion by bringing together thousands of boutiques and global fashion brands to sell on our marketplace, Farfetch.com. Our marketplace products enable a boutique in the back streets of Milan to sell a fashion item to a customer in Rio, even if the customer has never been to Italy. And so in 2008, we started with only a few boutiques, and today we have more than 1,400 luxury brands and retailers transacting on Farfetch.com. In Q1 alone, our revenue was around $485 million. By 2015, we evolved, of course, and our vision evolved from being a marketplace, already a successful one, to use more of a platform model. And we wanted to offer the technology that at that time powered our marketplace as e-commerce solutions to multi-brands and boutiques through our platform ecosystem. We built since then and managed the e-commerce solution for more than 20 luxury brands. In 2018, we announced to the world our Store of the Future vision. And as a result of that, we secured a partnership with the super brand Chanel, and we delivered the connected commerce experience to its boutiques in France. Not long ago after that, we also built the commerce offering for the world's most famous department store, Harrods in London. And basically, we're operating all their e-commerce around the globe through our platform. And so in these examples, the Farfetch product function played a very important role in building the technology that enable our business to achieve this big vision. But as you can guess, we're not stopping there, right? So last year, end of last year, we announced the luxury new retail vision. So what is it, right? This is really our vision for the future of retail over the next 10 years. And we're framing it in a way that we intersect three very important elements in luxury fashion: the customer, the retailer, and the environment. And so, as you can guess, product has a very big job to do in achieving this vision. We need our technology to, one, facilitate connections in a powerful, meaningful way. Two, we want to create a transformational experience that resonates with sustainability and circularity, two very important trends in the industry right now and that are really here to stay. And third, last but not least, to merge online and in-store experience to be whatever the customer is. And so even after COVID, there was a secular change to online, but we really believe that offline will still be there. And the secret sauce of this will be, how do we merge the two experiences together? So as a product team, where do we start, right? We have this vision, we have this amazing ambition, we have a framework on top of where our vision sits. But where do we start, right? What we did at Farfetch was to follow three simple steps that we believe could be used by anyone today here in this call when facing a similar challenge. And so the three simple steps, we start with thinking about what we have already. So ask yourself, what are you already planning that fits the vision that the company presents? Very often, a company vision does not come out of the blue, desirably, but is an evolution of the current thinking cemented as a vision. So the chances are that you are already working on some elements towards that vision. With L&R, specifically at Farfetch, we have a number of product initiatives already in development that are really under the themes that L&R speaks to: sustainability and connected commerce. So to start with, what we did was really to repurpose these initiatives and place them alongside the strategy. Secondly, we use this very simple now, next, and future model to frame the road to that vision. And so we started with the now, which is the things we were already doing. And then the next, a prioritization of features or initiatives to build on the now in the medium term. So based on this vision, ask yourself, what is the next big thing on top of the things we're already building? And so prioritize if you need to, or even deprioritize some initiatives that you have on the roadmap that are not really that well aligned to the new vision. And so the future step is actually the more far-reaching vision-based product stage that will allow us to build the last mile of our vision. Typically, these initiatives are the one that they have a lot of dependencies, a lot of unknowns. They're very complex, but hopefully, if you build from the now to the next and then to the future, the first two will be the foundations for you to then build the more ambitious steps towards the vision. And finally, always take a very pragmatic approach to product development. Think about the vision, one product at a time. It could be very overwhelming if we really are really obsessed with the long term, with the final stage, and if we're not pragmatic to understand what is the next big thing we can build, right? Where is the next product we can build? And so start from that. Start from the first product, and then the rest will follow organically. So for those of you today here, if you are facing a similar challenge, I recommend you to think about these simple steps and how can they be applied to your product development strategy. Now, I want to bring Radhika to the discussion. Enough talking on my side. I'll actually start by asking Radhika what you think about this vision. So how would you rate this vision from 0 to 10 in terms of the framework, the positioning, and most importantly, uh, how do you think this helps product managers on Farfetch to build products that resonate and that allows us to reach the vision?
Hi, Hélder, and great to be here with you. So, what I really liked about what you were sharing, right? The first thing I noticed was, you really demystified creating a vision. What often happens, and I hear this in my master classes, is, people feel like their leadership team kind of goes into a cave one day and then comes back out with this vision saying, ta-da, here's our vision and this is what we're going to do, right? And what you really demystified is this idea that your vision is based on such a solid understanding of your customer, and you can really see that. That was one main thing that really stood out to me. The second thing, right, was in the way you were talking about your vision, you weren't just giving a tagline. It wasn't the slogan that, ta-da, here's what we do in this one short sentence. It was really a description of the person, who maybe in Rio, who isn't going to the back streets of Milan to find fashion, but they can do this online. And so that really painted a very clear picture for me of the end state that you were seeing. So that was one of the key things I felt was the essence of a good vision, right? Like I really got kind of what you were doing and why you were doing it. So those were some of my key takes, like right at first glance. But beyond that, right, I guess one of the things I noticed as well was it wasn't this vision that you said, well, this was our vision at the start and that was it. It was going to be ever present and unchanging. Instead, your vision, it seemed like it has changed over the years, right? And I love that because that means that your vision isn't so broad at the beginning where it's like, oh, we're doing everything. It was very specific. We're going to achieve this. And then your vision kind of evolved to that next stage. So that's one of the things that I really like in teams, where we can revisit our vision and realign periodically, because that's so important. So I'm
No,
going to throw the
amazing.
question back at you, actually.
Sure.
When did you realize, like, okay, now is the time for our vision to go through an evolution? Like, how did you realize that? And then how did you kind of go about saying, okay, now, this is the next phase of our vision?
Yeah, but basically, I think that our business always been very vision led. I was going to say visionary, but that sounds like a self compliment. But it was always very vision led, right? So we're fortunate enough to have a visionary CEO, José Neves, and he started the company with that I would say simple vision of Farfetch being the platform for the luxury industry, and this one actually, and I'm not sure if all the companies are as fortunate. We didn't feel any disruption to our vision. It was always, like you said, a natural step forward and an evolution of the vision. So for us, it was really easy. That step of what am I already doing for this vision was a very easy step for us to take, because it was always very natural. The next step, it was always almost as a confirmation, step by step, of the original vision and an evolution on top of it. What we of course have to do as a product function is to be, and specifically at Farfetch, is to be really paying attention to those shifts in the business and adapt to it. Right? Sometimes we kind of Farfetch changes all the time. Right? One of the things you'll if you ask around is the speed of the changes, and every day we have news, we have a new business, we have a new deal, and we need to adapt. And so what product needs to do is to embrace those changes on the business side, right, and adjust the strategy accordingly, because typically if there's a change on the business, that also means an opportunity, right? The faster we adjust to that opportunity, the better our products will also deliver against that vision, right? So what happens sometimes actually is that because we have so many new projects and so many new opportunities, that some of these projects kind of feel a burden or a deviation to the vision, the beautiful vision that we had, and the beautiful strategies that we had. And so sometimes we kind of struggle, and this is where I could actually ask for your advice back, which is, how do we balance that, right? How do we balance a new project or a new deal that actually makes sense for the business, but eventually deviate us or slow us down towards that ultimate goal or that vision, right? So how do we balance that without, of course, refusing any new opportunities from the business, but still building up to the ultimate vision?
Yeah, and especially when you have interesting marquee customers like Harrods or Chanel, that's one of the risks that can happen. And in many organizations that go after like marquee clients, it's very easy to find a product disease like obsessive sales disorder or strategic swelling, which is where, it's like, oh, we have to be customer driven, so let's give the customer whatever they ask for. And instead, what you're talking about is this thoughtful approach to product management, which is, how do we figure out like what's right for our vision versus what do we need to do for these customers. And so the way I talk to product teams about doing this is thinking about a vision on your y-axis and thinking about survival on your x-axis. And so your survival can be, stakeholder risk, or which means basically, your boss could kill your product if they disapprove, or it could be, your stakeholders who are your external customers, or finally, it could be financial risk. So there are many such risks I list in the toolkit that I have on radicalproductthinking.com. But the point is that you balance vision versus the survival, whatever this key to your survival is. And so that's how you balance long-term and short-term. And so things that are good for the vision and survival, that's of course ideal. But if we always focused on just the ideal, then we're just being very short-term focused. So sometimes you have to invest in the vision, which is basically, it's not good for your survival, but hey, it's really good for your vision. These are kind of the longer term things. And so, some things I observe in your investing in the vision is where you took the time to actually build this new platform. When you were working on kind of the vision evolution, you were really doing the investing in the vision because, and by the way, this is very often where companies get stuck because things are going so well in this ideal quadrant. You're like, why do I have to go invest in the vision, right? And so you guys, in doing this vision evolution, you are really investing in the vision. And then the next thing is, when you have custom requests from big marquee customers, that sometimes can fall into vision debt. Think of your technical debt. That's basically always thinking about the short term. So it's helping you survive in the short term, but it's not good for your vision necessarily. And so we have to be super careful about taking on this vision debt. And so very often I use this 2x2 with stakeholders and internally to really communicate. And what I noticed in what you were saying, Hélder, was just how much intuition you seem to have for just knowing kind of just when your vision needs to evolve, like keeping a pulse on the market, or kind of doing this trade-offs just intuitively. And I often talk about it as doing algebra. Like, the more senior you are, the more you have this practice with algebra. If I give a math problem like, x plus 1 equals 0, you're like, oh yeah, of course, this is the answer. And the more senior you are, the more complex these problems are that you solve just in your head. And I think, and it's because of all the hard experiences you've had. And so a lot of these tools, they help people translate that intuition into being able to give that same intuition to more junior leaders so they can develop the same product sense.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I honestly, it's the first time I hear the term vision depth, but it makes a lot of sense. I think it's really something that we could all use to capture the deviation from our vision, right? So, of course, you mentioned the right balance between the ideal versus the critical stuff. And I think from my experience, that also has to do with the maturity stage of a company, right? When we typically more on the B2B side of things, when we start a new product, it's easier for us to follow our vision, and it's typically software as a service these days, right? But then when we start getting the big accounts, the big customers, that's when we start doing some compromises, right? So I think, and we've passed through that at Farfetch sometimes where we would announce a new deal that would again create that vision depth, and I'm already using it, so thank you. The product managers typically reacted defensively, say, "Oh my God, so now I need to deviate from my vision. I had my roadmap so well sorted, everything was looking so good, and now I need to do something that the customer requested, right?" And I think we need, as product managers, we really need to help, and leaders, we need to help the teams navigate that, because most of the times on the B2B space, those big projects also come as opportunities for us to prove the value of our strategies, right? And so one of the challenges that we typically face is whenever it's time, as you said, to correct the direction and invest a bit more on the vision aspect of things, what would be your advice to kind of convince and have the buy-in of the business that typically are more concerned with the short-term results and the deals that are arising? What would be your advice in terms of a product manager to show that value, the value of investing on the strategy, on the vision to the business?
Yeah, one of the product diseases I talk about is locked-in syndrome. And sometimes I actually use that disease as I describe that disease to say, this is what we're trying to avoid. We don't want to be stuck in this comfort zone and just be happy here. And so in terms of proving out our strategy, one of the biggest risks that product managers face is, I had this wonderful roadmap and a plan. Now you're asking me to do this new thing. How do I even know that it's going to be successful? So you're asking me to invest in the vision. Like, isn't this too big a risk? And so the first thing is, right, how do we minimize that risk? And very often we do that with lean and agile. We say, we're going to have the smallest minimum viable product. We do it in small sprints, etc. So great, that's all good. But one of the other things that really comes into play is being able to communicate a really clear strategy in terms of why are we doing what we're doing? Like, how does the strategy help us get closer to this vision? It's these actionable steps. And then basically showing product teams how we're going to validate that and prove out this hypothesis that we have of a strategy through small things. And so it's basically trying to take it in steps and saying, okay, so here's our strategy. Here's the first thing that we'll do just to prove it out. And so it's only this small an investment. And so taking it in those steps. But what happens often is we're so lean and agile that we just forget to communicate that here's the strategy and this is why we're doing this action. And so basically tying strategy more closely to lean and agile through that communication and saying this is what we're proving out through our lean and agile execution. It helps everyone have the same perspective on kind of how we're experimenting.
Okay. So if you understand correctly, what you're saying is that basically we should exaggerate on every time we announce a product, an evolution of a product, a release or something like that, we maybe start by framing it on the wider vision, right? Because if we do that, we will actually be exposing more and more our vision, our end goal, right? While we're showing value to the business, right? While we're saying to the business, we're supporting you and we're going after that vision that we agreed the company had, right?
Right, exactly. And by doing that, you're bringing your vision into your everyday actions.
So we have a couple of questions here already. Would you guys mind if we just jump into the questions now?
Absolutely.
All right. So I don't know if this is either for Radhika or for Hélder, but maybe both of you want to take this one. So how do you share and keep everyone aligned in your organization to the vision? I think very classical question. So, okay, that's great. But how does it go from José Neves to the rest of the team, right?
Do you want to take this one?
Yeah, go ahead. Ladies first.
So the thing about keeping the vision, everyone aligned on the vision The way I do that is doing a vision exercise by doing this fill in the blank statement of what that describes your vision. And so you do this together as a product team. It includes stakeholders, and that fill in the blank statement really asks some deep questions like, whose world are you trying to change? What's their problem? Why do you need to solve that problem? Because maybe the status quo is okay. And then finally, how are you going to bring this about? And then doing this on a regular basis. You don't just set your vision and let it go, right, forever. And like, depending on the size of the company and how mature the market is, you revisit this vision. If you're early stage startup, like every month. If you're a more grown-up company, maybe 6 months to 1 year, but you keep revisiting this vision, and that helps keep the alignment.
All right. So, Hélder, the Farfetch vision traces back to 2008. How do you guys keep the vision current?
No, absolutely. It's been an evolution since day one. First, again, just to summarize, we started by solving a problem and providing an opportunity to luxury fashion boutiques only. Then, as we were progressing and being successful on that side, we brought the brands into the mix. And so we wanted to be the platform or the marketplace for both boutiques and brands. Then, because the brands saw the interest on our technology, we evolved to be that platform company. And now we want to be really the driver of the whole luxury fashion experience. So again, fortunate on the Farfetch side for us as product leaders here and product managers, the fact that the company evolved its strategy and its vision, and so we didn't have any disruption, which makes it a lot easier. I could even just guess if suddenly a company changes completely the vision, that makes it much harder. But for us, it's been a natural evolution, and support product was also always there, right? Always following that evolution.
Right, and just bridging here to the next question. In your case specifically, you had very, at least here in Portugal, very prominent investments from SoftBank and other leading stakeholders. So how can you keep the stakeholders, or how can we keep, if it's another company, in line and get them to follow your ideas, especially new stakeholders that jump into Series A or later, rounds of investment?
Yeah, that's again, I think that's probably the most important aspect of being a vision-led company, right? Sticking to that company and then showing evidence of the path towards that vision is the most fundamental thing that can happen. I think for the most part, people and investors and partners, they understand the vision, but then showing evidence of that journey is really important, right? And so at Farfetch, we've been able to do that, right? So every step that we take, every new investment, every new deal actually confirms that vision, and that makes it much easier for us to then have the stakeholders buy in towards it, right?
Right. Let's just do this last one, which is, Radhika, any common traits for what makes a great vision? What do they need to have? What's the secret sauce here? Is there any formula?
And I want to use that. I'll answer the first two questions on that list using this. What makes a good vision? It's what I was mentioning. You have to answer the who, what, why, and the how. A good vision is not a tagline. So everything that you've learned about a good vision being short slogan, we really have to forget that. A good vision doesn't have to be broad. So it has to be super detailed. And that detailed vision basically has to answer whose world are you trying to change? Meaning, who's the target end customer that whose world you're really setting out to change? What is their problem? What are they trying to do? And what's their current solution? And then next is, why isn't that current solution acceptable? Because sometimes we should think about the fact that maybe the current solution is actually okay. And then the last thing is, how are you actually bringing about that change? And what does the world look like when you can hang up the mission accomplished banner? And in my masterclass yesterday, we did really this exercise to be able to lay out a good vision. And so for, you can download the toolkit, etc. You'll find how to write that vision.
Yeah.
But the main thing, if there's one thing you take away about what's a good vision, it's not a slogan. Think of it like almost an essay, so that you're describing exactly what's the end state you want to see in the world, and you share this with the team so that everyone sees the same end state. It's not important for them to describe it in your words. They should be describing it in their words. That's the important thing about a vision. And so that answers this last part, which is, isn't the vision coming from the CEO?
Right.
Depends. If you're a product manager, I really want you to have your own product vision, right? And hopefully it's aligned with the CEO's vision, right? Like, you may have many different products in the company. And so you should make sure that all of those vision statements are aligned with the company's vision. But your product vision should not be dictated by the CEO. As a product person, you own the product vision, and you have to get your stakeholders aligned with that.
All right. Thank you so much, Radhika and Hélder, for such an insightful and inspiring conversation. If you have any questions, you can still, I guess, move those questions to chat, and I guess